Okay, we're doing the Nisa Chamayim, the avoid of Nisa Chamayim. We said that the kohen would go up. We take a 3 leg according to the Tanakama, 1 leg according to Yehuda. According to Tanakama, 7 days of Sukkot. According to Rabbi Yehuda, even Shmini Atzeres. Amazingly enough, even though Kol Pinish at the point El Yamin, usually when you go up to the Mizbech, you turn counterclockwise. You go to the right, to the southeast. You made a left, southwest. Quoted a Mishnah because of what the smoke of Maracha should spoil the water. And there was the safsal there. There were 2 safsalim there, one for water, one for wine. The one with wine had obviously a bigger hole. According to Rashi, according to Tosfos, it was thinner, so it could go down quicker. That should go down b'vasacha. So we're going to continue the discussion of that. And we said that tzedaikim, the Mishnah mentioned that tzedaikim, since it's Torah Shabbat, they didn't believe in it. So there was in the Bayis Sheni, we know from Masechta Yuma, there were plenty of kahanim that were corrupt, and they found one of them taking the water, instead of pouring it into the bowl, poured it on his feet in front of it. So we get a little, and the Gemara Mishnah said they pelted him with this roigim. So says the Gemara, Tanrabana, we have a brisa that elaborates upon this. Ma'aseh b'tzedaki echad was ma'aseh with a certain tzedaki on a mem chesam at base, 3 lines from the bottom. Mem chesam at base, 3 lines from the bottom. Tanrabana, ma'aseh b'tzedaki echad shenisach al gabe raglov. He poured it on his feet. Urgamu kol am besroigehim. They stoned him with their roigim. For that day, nifkmo keren amizbeach. That day, the mizbeach became what? Blemished. In other words, as a result of this pelting, it became blemished. Now look at Rashi. If you're asking yourself, how can an Esther go ahead possibly dent the keren of the mizbeach, right? Rashi says something very, very fascinating. 2 lines from the bottom at the end of the line. Nifkmo keren amizbeach. They avonim sherzoku boy. They threw rocks also. They threw rocks also. You know, it wasn't I guess you stone them. I know. Yeah, it's regular. Question. Good. Bobby Obach asked me, where they get the stones from? You took, where the stones come from? Yeah. They just happened to have it, but they were busy throwing Shabbos.
No, but that's right. The love they were hiding. Remember, we said they put the stones on top of the rubbers.
Yeah. That's also a question. Yeah, I'm saying, I don't know. That's a good point, Doc. Yeah, where does the stones come from there? Yeah. But that could be Erev Shabbos. They could have brought it special, but this is like simultaneous, right? This is simultaneous. There's Torah over here. You're not supposed to. It's us to go ahead and break the mizbeach. So what they're doing was emotional. They were mechavim lekach. This Torah on this. Anyway,
Bezer, I had a question before yesterday also. What was the makar for the tzedaki to pour it on his feet? I mean, is there a pasuk that says something like that? They follow Torah Shabbat. They don't follow Torah Shabbat.
He wasn't throwing it on his feet to be Mekayim a mitzvah. He was throwing on his feet as opposed to the bowl. He made believe that he was throwing it on the bowl, but his feet were there, right?
Okay, I got
it. Okay, so what happened? They bull shel melach. They bought like a fistful of salt. The satmul, and they went ahead and they filled in. Not because the mizbeach now will be permitted. El fishlayir mizbeach pagam. It shouldn't see mizbeach pagam. Shekol mizbeach shein like kevesh. Any mizbeach doesn't have a ramp. V'lay keren nor a keren. V'lay yisoid and not a yisoid. V'lay revua nor was it squared off. Pasal avoida. Okay, just the long Rashi over here. We know we're familiar with this back, guys, right? 32 by 32 square, 32 amas long ramp. It's not 64 from the bottom to the top because it overlaid. There was an air space that overlaid, and in terms of the Yisai went up 1 and indented 1. Then it went up 5, indented 1. Then it went up 3, and you had that's a total of 9. 5, 3, and 1 is 9. Then each corner had a keren. A horn, which was an amma high. So it's 10 amas altogether on top of the horn. So you needed all these components to be a kosher mizbeach. Rabbi Yosef and Yehuda Aimer afa soivev. You didn't even need the soivev. Again, that was at the 5 amma mark. Amar Rav Chanav Yechanan shisin mishisis mei brishis nevro. The shisin they were created from Shesis Mei Bereshis. Shenemar, Chamuke Yirekayach, your your rekach, your thighs, they are concealed. K'may chaloyim, like jewels. Maisa yodei aman, like the hands of an aman, of what a craftsman. Chamuke yurakayich, elu ashisin. These are the shisin. K'may chaloyim, shemachul v'yardim atahayim. That these shisim, they were subterranean holes that were so deep they went to the Haim, the center of the world, whatever the time is. And Maisa Yedei Aman Su Maisa Yedei Umnashal Kadosh Baruch Hu. This is the Maisa of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Tanad Rabbi Yishmael Bereshis, guys. I'll take Rabbi Bereshis Ella Bara Sheis. Take the Rabbi Bereshis, guys, and Bara Sheis. Okay, there is a Chalukei Deos exactly what the Shisin were. I'll give you just a little what I know. There's an incident in Masech Damakis where David was looking. He was digging, and he pulled up something, and it began to flood the world. It said David was being kairea. David was digging, and why was he digging? He says he was digging shisin. He was digging shisin, and this came to go ahead and to flood the world. Okay, this Gemara is in conflict with that Gemara. Because, in other words, there's chalukei deos as to who made the shisin. Clearly, not Gemara, HaKadosh Baruch Hu made the shisin, and clearly, HaKadosh Baruch Hu shisin don't flood the world. That's why it's Maisa Adam, Maisa. The Haim is there's water in the middle of the world. It's not coming up. When it's Basav Adam, then the water began to come up. When it was HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Maisa Adam, then it didn't come up. It didn't come up. So and the Marsha says the shisin of David were not in the place of the Mizbeach. The shisin of David were the walls of the base of Mikdash. The shisin of David were not underneath the Mizbeach. The shisin of David were the walls of the Mizbeach. So if it's not, he says it's not conflicting. He wants to go ahead and be machriya that it's not two conflicting things. Who made the shisin? Because the two shisin, there's one that's the foundation for the walls, and there's one that's what is under the Mizbeach. Okay, so anything that you threw down there, any liquid, all the wine, every single day, all the libations, think about it. Every single carbon, with the exception of a chatas v'asham, needed what? Maybe some others needing the sachim, and the water, and it all went down to the center of the earth. It went down the shisim. It didn't accumulate. It went down, and this, according to this Gemara, they were around from the beginning of time. Bereshis, Barashes. You take the word Bereshis and break it up to two words, Barashes, because Baruch Hu created these things. That's the opinion of this. Now we're going to see a different opinion, but that's the opinion that so there was no liquid to be taken out because all the liquid is gone.
Is that the Evan Shisia?
Evan Shisia is in the Kachik Kedoshim. That's where the world was created from, and that's where the Oren sat on top of that. The Oren sat on top of that. So two different locations. This is the Macham Mizbeach outside the Azara, right? This is outside the Azara, not in the Kodesh Kedoshim. So now, Tana Rabbi Yossi Omer, Shisim Mechulon. Okay, we said that. Shisim Mechulon v'Yardim Atahayim Shnemar Ashiru no liyadidi Shiraz Daidi lekarmoi. What is that? Kerem Hoya Yadidi Bekeren ben. This is all the pasuk in Yeshaya. Keren Hoya Yadidi Bekeren ben Shamein in the Furl Keren. Vayaskeu, Vayisalkeu, Vayatieu Shayrek, Vayiven Migdal B'Saychai, V'Gam Yekev Chotzev Boy. Okay, what is this? Vayateu Shayrek. What does that? What does that mean? That Kodesh Baruch Hu went ahead and he planted shoots, grape shoots. Said Beis HaMikdash. Vayiven Migdal B'Saychai. Sem Mizbeach. V'Gam Yekev Chotzev Boy. Yekev is a wine press. Elu Hashisin. These refers to what the shisin. So again, another source for the shisin, not only Bereshis, a source in Yeshaya alluding to HaKadosh Baruch Hu creating what these shisin. Now, I'm going to tell you something now, not to be repeated. I'm not going to say b'shem oimroi because I checked it out, and I checked it with a certain rabbi who was a Talmud, and he said he never heard this person say it. But to me, it makes a lot of sense, and it's my son told it to me. I trust my son. He said something very, 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 very deep. It says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created Adam, Afa min ha'adama. Min ha'adama, right? Makom Shem, the Adama, Shnema, the Makom HaMizbeach, girls. Okay, getting ready for school.
What do you wear?
Yehuda, I'm sorry. You have to, every once in a while I say girls. I just did it for the first time since you've been in share, so I apologize. Okay. Anyway, so listen what he said. It's a fascinating thing. Adam was created from Makom HaMizbeach. We know Mizbeach is the Makom Kapara. That's the Makom Kapara. Because Baruch Hu went ahead. What did he do? He almost like a goylem, right? He took an imprint and he goes, this person, great person said that the earth that was left after Adam was taken out, that's the season. The earth that Adam was taken out of, that's the season, which would make a lot of sense. If Adam was created from Makom Mizbeach, guys, and the Mizbeach was right over there in that spot, right? So if Adam was created from there, the shisa, naturally, then when you took the dirt out, revealed the imprint, those are the shisa. Those are the shisa. That would, and the person said it, the person who said it said he has no makar for it, it's just something he believes. Right? Mindy, you hear that? Did you hear what I just told you?
Yeah.
You're not dancing on the table?
Wait, that's before.
Oh, you go back before. Okay. Yeah.
You said it went over, it went down. It went up.
And you're going to tell me that 60, 70 years they went down. Yeah. That's a different shot. Hang in there a second, okay? Excellent. It's good kasha. It's a great kasha. But guess what? That opinion does not hold the Rishisa. That argues in this. Good. Excellent. Oh, excellent kasha. It's such a good kasha. The Gemara yesterday. Now I want to get back to what I just said. Did you hear what I said about the Shisin? Forget about the. I just answered you the question. I gave you the great answer, right? Did you hear what I told you about the Shisin? It's unbelievable, guys. You hear it? It has some type of. When you hear it, it kind of makes a little sense. No, when you hear it, it kind of like. So the person, the rabbi asked. He said, I never heard it. My son said, okay, if corroborate, I'll fill you in on the information. I know as soon as I told you that, you weren't even listening to anything. You're just saying, who is that rabbi? What's he talking about? You know, initials. No one brought it down. No, but it makes a lot of sense. It's very One second, Svadi Ashkenazi. Yerushalayim or Tveria. Okay, guys, it's geschmack, right? It's geschmack. So that would like put it. They'll kind of give you a form together. That excuse the pun of right. It's geschmack, right? I heard it. It resonated with me. That would explain a lot of things. Why Dafka the Makom Mizbeach is an exact spot on this earth. It's got to be exactly that spot, no other spot. Why? That's bizarre. Guys, one of the reasons we can't base it even with the paradum and everything, we don't know Makom Mizbeach. We saw Gemara in Zvachim is. How they know? They said, "Raw Eifish al Yitzchak Munach by Makom." The remnants of the Nevi'im saw the ashes of Yitzchak from the Akedah in that spot. That's the only way they knew. It's exact. Says the Rambam in Beis Bechira, it's either the second or third parak, that the lashon of the Rambam is Makom Mizbeach mechuvanas biyoser. It's very exact. It's very exact, right? And there's no. It's according to the Rambam, that's the Makom of the Goyrin, the threshing floor of a Ravna Hayavusi that David bought from a Ravna. That was a Kodesh Baruch Hu. He saw a Malach standing on there, Malach HaMashta standing on there, the exact spot. So it's very, very. It's all this is all gebunden in kabbalistically for sure, but certainly in terms of nigla, what we understand why Makom Mizbeach is unique and why the shisim what they are. Now, Mendy asks a great question. Right? Mendy says that what. Following Gemara, Tanya, Amr Rabbi Elazar Reb Tzaddik. This is in Me'ilah, Gemara Me'ilah Aleph. Lul Cotton Hoya ben Kevesh Mizbeach. There was a small area between the Kevesh and Mizbeach, the Maravi Shel Kevesh, on the west of the ramp. The Achas l'Shivim Shana, and once in every 70 years, Pirchei Kahuna Yordim l'Sham. The Pirchei Kahuna would go down there. Umilaktin misham yayin korish, and they would gather coagulated wine. Shedoimele gule devela. It was similar to a cake of figs that were stuck together. Ubayin, and they'd converse for the Sebik Tusha, and they okay. So no, I was always bothered by this. 70 years, that's a lot of wine. I mean, think about it, right? So how only every 70 years, like so. I learned this Rashi, and Baruch Hashem, this time around, I got shot. Look at this Rashi, guys. Look at this Rashi. That's good. It's a long Rashi. Yeah, but no, I don't want to do the whole thing. Umukaf arba mechitzas. Go from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines up. Umukaf arba mechitzas ad karkiyasav. and it was surrounded. This lul was surrounded by 4 walls. And the bottom of this, underneath it, Mendy, this is for you, was made of marble. Marble. The Eina Yayin Nivlasham, and the Yayin was not. It was not Nivlasham. It was not what absorbed there. All the Nischa Yayin would go down there, right? The high Tana Leslie Sheyu Shisim Yardim at the Haim. And this Tana is held that what the Shisim did not go to the Haim. Come on, the Leslie Upola Gad Rabbanan. That he argues. So this is Machlekes. Now, I was wondering, when I learned it, I said, 1 second. If the whole was marble and it wasn't, it's going to back it up, right? I think, right? So I spoke to Rabbi Rotkin today. He goes, that's not, he goes, he didn't learn Pshal like that. He learned the following. He said, why would there be any wine at all? In other words, generally, you pour the liquid down, it'll find a way to the lowest possible place. It'll seep through cracks. It's explaining that there was a shayish there, not that it held all the wine, but over 70 years, it held enough wine that you'd have congealed wine together. It's kind of to explain why there was any wine at all. And then that makes more sense, because no one asked the kasha. No, I looked around. No one asked the kasha. I looked up the Sefter and the Meila. No one asked the kasha. So I think that's demonstrating b'shat.
Like trickles of wine.
Yeah,
slowly.
right. In other words, there was clearly most of the wine got absorbed in the ground. So why was there any wine at all? Because it was an area that had marble, and in that area over time it can accumulate. That would make the most sense. Okay, so now we have machlokes. Now, why would they burn it? Let's see. Why would they burn it? Shnemar, the kodesh hasech nesach shechel Hashem. It says about the kodesh hasech. They make a hekesh between streifa guys and kodesh and geshem shenisucha b'kedusha. Just like you poured it b'kedusha, kach seifasa b'kedusha, you had to burn it in a makom kedusha. Therefore, they burned it again. It was asava. No, I don't know why Bukhari did the mitzvah already with it, but my mashma Ravina asi kodesh kodesh. It says by here, but kodesh hasech nesach shechel Hashem. It says by noiser b'saraftes hanoiser be'esh lo yeyachel ki kodeshu. Right, ki kodesh, it is kodesh. Good, and that's lima. So again, now we have a little background: the water, the wine. Menasechit, southwest corner, 2 bowls. Right, we spoke about beautiful Torah yesterday. Taisvis, why it's not going from a higher kedusha, a kli of zohav, to a lower kedusha, kli kesef. Ma'ila b'kodesh le'maridin, you don't go down. If it was kept in a golden kli, how can you throw in a silver kli? And we answered beautifully. Since there was connected to mizbeach, it had to do in mizbeach, and mizbeach is a higher level than what than gold. So very geschmack. Okay, says the Gemara Vayt. Kaman ozlo hadidnan. The following: Nesachim b'tchila moilim behen. Nesachim before you do the mitzvah, there's a din of meila, and yardu l'shisin ein moilim behen. Once they go down to the shisin, there's no din of meila. Lema Rebbe Lazar Rebbe Tzadiki. Let's say it's Rebbe Tzadik. Why? Di Rabbanon hanachtu lahu l'toim. Guys, according to the Rabbanon, there is no wine. There is no nisuch. It's gone. So let's say in other words, you're teaching me a halacha. What's a halacha? Anything that once you do the mitzvah, no longer is there moel behegdish. We learned this in Masechta Yuma. We spoke out that they would go through the canal, would go out, then they'd sell it to the farmers for fertilizer. The mila d'rabbanan. We spoke out. Once you do a mitzvah, there's no din of mila anymore. Once you do a mitzvah, there's no din of mila anymore. So now you're telling me you say initially before you do the mitzvah, moelim ba. Once you do the mitzvah, no moelim ba. And where is that by? It's by nisuch, right? It must be only according to the Tana Rav Elazar and Tzaddik who has something there. Because look at Chachamim, it's all gone. It's gone. So the Rabbanan hanachtu l'tayim. I feel it him Rabbanan. The iklik. We speaking where you get after they did nisuch, you put you stuck it in, and you once it was done, it's done. In other words, I didn't have to wait till it gets to the ground. I can go ahead and possibly pour it and catch some of it. So Vikid the army, Lem Rabbanan, he bled Rebbe Elazar and Tzaddik. The Rebbe Elazar, it's a kaddish says a kaima. Very geschmack, guys. Maybe it's only the Rabbanan. Why Rebbe Elazar says, why are you burning it?
It's so good.
So I even said over here afterwards you did the mitzvah, it's not. So the opposite way, right? Maybe it's only according to Rabbanon, because Rabbanon say it's not Kaddish. Like Rabbi Elazar, it's still Kaddish. Says no. I feel it. Rabbi Elazar mitzvah. Ein lecha dava shenasa mitzvah soy molim, but it's nothing that once you do the mitzvah, that's a din of meal in it. Amrei Shlakish, bisman shemenaschem yael gam mizbeach, poikin shashishin. They would go ahead, guys. When they pour it, they would go ahead and stuff up the holes. Now, shishin does mean the holes underneath. In the safsolim, they would go ahead and stuff them up. L'kaima shenemar bekodesh haseich nesach sheichel Hashem. Now, haseich is to pour, sheich is to get drunk. My mashmona papa, sheich is lashon shtia, lashon sevia. Sheich means to drink. It means to be satiated. And lashon shechvitz, it means to be drunk. And the way they get drunk, they drank it all at once. So go ahead and Mekayim, the shecha, they would go ahead and be poikik it, so it would accumulate together. Then you'd pull it out and probably go down. If you pour it down when it's open, it's going down slowly, right? If you go ahead and put it up and then you let the drain go, hopefully the drain zoom, then it goes down. Amra Papa, Shmamina kisava inish chamra migruna. A person wears his saveya with yayin, he saveya in his throat, not when it gets to his stomach like food, but when it gets to his throat. Even before that, the wine connoisseurs, they drink it and they spit it out, right? The wine, they taste it in the mouth, right? What? Well, Hesh, let's leave it to the expert. Avrami, no, right? They swish around.
I swallow that. Keep making sure it's good.
I want you to know he makes a great bottle of wine. You have any left? You do, okay. Efshad, Mizak share. Okay, he really does. Sukkahs, right? Sukkahs, I'm sitting over the iron.
When you drink wine, you all can spit it out.
Abaraba, Sumar Rabbanon, the Nefishi Lecharma. They don't have a lot of wine, so Ligma Gamuya, they should chug it. So in order to get the effect of it, right? Again, the Indian of wine, yayin semach, guys. The idea of getting a little tipsy is geshmak hazach. Are you listening? Again, it's a geshmak thing. No. It gets the juices going, gets the thinking going. It's again to be an alcoholic is one thing, but I'm saying, but to go ahead, and drink it, and it's discussing over here to get the effect of wine is a big thing. So therefore, if you don't have a lot of wine, chug it. Rava akise de birchasa agmagmui. Rava on the case of bracha, whatever the case of bracha was, usually means the case of benching. Here can mean even kiddush with chug it. Dorish Rava ma'idich siv. Okay, my yafu pa'amayich bin olim bas nediv. How beautiful are your steps? Ben olim in shoes. Bas nediv, the daughter of the noble. What does that mean? My yafu pa'amaseyim shel Yisrael b'shashayil neregel. The pasuk Shirashim is going ahead and exalting the greatness of Klal Yisrael that the oil regel. Bas Nediv, Bita Shel Avram Avinu. The Bas Nediv, the Bita Shel Avram Avinu, Shenikra Nediv. Avram is called Nediv, Shenemar, Nedivei Amim Nesafu, Im Elokei Avraham. Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yaakov, Yitzchak Yaakov, Elokei Avraham, Shayit Chila Gerim. He was the Nediv. He was the first one. Let's see Rashi over here. Says Rashi, Nediv shenadvoy liboy lahakres boyroi. To recognize the Kodesh Baruch Hu, he was the first person to chilas the Gerim benidvas liboy liskaya. So he was called Nediv. He was giving of his heart to go ahead. Beautiful marsha over here. Why b'shas yo'el l'regel? Because Avram Avinu was the first person that was yo'el l'regel by the Akeda guys. Right? Avram Avinu was the first person who was yo'el l'regel. The beautiful pshat, right? First person was yo'el l'regel was Avram Avinu. Was yo'el Maria. So that's we're exalting him. There's nice Torah here. Let me share with you. I'll have time. There's nice Torah. Why the first ger? Because the ger leaves his homeland to go and sojourn. Avram Avinu left l'cha. So to a regel, you're leaving the comfort of your own home. Says Eitz Chaim, and you're going. You're going. Okay, it's very nice. There's a chidah. Chidah says the following: Avram Avinu, by the war against the four kings, when he was victorious and he had all the spoils, So the Melech Sedoim approached him and said, "By Teli Nefesh v'chush kachlach, give me the people and you take the possessions." Avram said, "I'm not going to take Michut Vatzreich now, with the exception of the Chelik of the Orim who went with me." So in the schus of Chut Atzreich now, we got many mitzvahs. We got the mitzvahs of tzitzis. We got the mitzvah of the tzuas of tefillin. Medrash says, I'll quote the Medrash. The Medrash is gracious. Yudalid. No, that's the pasuk. Gracious Rabbah, Mem Gimel Tes. It says that the chut, he got the chut of the chut hasikra, guys. The chut hasikra was the red thread that went around the mizbeach in the middle of the mizbeach, right? So it went around there. So that's saying that chut hasikra, right? Avram Avinu got the Medrash then quotes the pasuk Mayofu ben alayim. Like this pasuk, guys, look about this pasuk say Mayofu pamayach ben olim, right? That your steps. What you got the chut is the shoelace, and the olim in the shoes. That's why they bring this pasuk in, because it alludes to Avram, the chut that's around, and the shoestring, the ritzua, the chut, and the sreich now. The chut is the mizbeach, and the sreich now is the shoe of panayim that he walked up and got it. Very nice. Weiter. Tana devei Rab Anan. My dichsiv chamuke yirakayich, the roundness or the hiddenness, guys, of your flanks. Lama nimshlu divrei Torah kiyerech. Why is divrei Torah compared to a thigh? Laim lecha my yerech b'seiser, just like a yerech is b'seiser. Af divrei Torah b'seiser. So too divrei Torah is b'seiser. Just like a yerech is b'seiser, so too divrei Torah is b'seiser. So what divrei Torah is that a person should. Rashi brings that you should not learn in big public places. Quietly. Torah is given quietly in a quiet manner. There's a peladik medrash, guys. Medrash Tanchuma. I'll tell you where it is. The Medrash Tanchuma in Kisisa says the following. Listen. He says the following. He says that the reason why the first luchos were broken is because it was given with a tremendous, and as a result, the ayin hara, and that's why they were broken. The Torah, it wasn't given b'seisa. It wasn't divrei Torah is chamukech, is like it's hidden, and the Medrash says that's why it was given with such fanfare, right? The koilos broken Matan Torah, the greatest day in the history of the world. Afal Pikin, there was an ayin hara, and Kodesh Baruch Hu gave it the choice. There seems to be a metzias in the world of what. So Torah is b'seisa, quietly. No, it's Torah, learning Torah. It says that's why Torah at night, the kinyan of Torah, guys, is at night with b'seisa. It's quietly. It's quiet. Yeah, people, there's an union of learning that people, you learn quietly. People have to know what you're doing. You're sitting in certain places. You're learning. It's a beautiful hafla in the Sefer Panim Yafais, guys. It says chamuke yirakayach. Right, this thing the Torah being seisa. Listen to this Arizal. Look at the word chamuke, guys. Right? Chamuke is chasure mechsra v'hachikatani. Chamuke, it's concealed. How come? Do you ever wonder why we're missing words? Why are we missing words? Chasure mechsra v'hachikatani. You're missing words. Put the words in. No. The derech Torah is b'seisa. The Torah is written in a hidden manner, and it's hidden. You have to delve into it to get it. You see, the Torah, it was goofa, it was missing words. Why was it missing words? Says that flaw. Why was it missing words? It's because of this inyan of what of b'seisa. Guys, when Rabbi put together the Torah Shabbat Peh, right? Eslas Hashem for Torah Sach, he used all this money together. You know how many different gersayos there were? Listen, you know how many Bryce is not included in the Mishnayos? How many Tosefta is not included in the Mishnayos? How many Mishnayos that were corrupted and put in? Who did he put in? The Mishnayos of Rav Meir. Why? Rav Meir says Rav Shira Goin was Makasa the most. That's why we need a Gemara, because the Mishnah makes no sense. Because it's so Makasa. Because again, that's the way of the Sefer of Torah. That's the way Torah is hidden. It's beautiful the hair. The Chamuke is gewaltig, right? That's the Rashi Tavis, right? It comes together.
It was like MetLife Stadium.
What? No, that is not learning Torah. That's Simchas HaTorah. Simchas HaTorah, that is publicity, but the actual learning of Torah, Rabbi once told me, he said to me, Leza, he goes, I'm going to tell you, he told me, when did he put Saita in his pocket? When did he put Saita in his pocket? He said he started Thursday night, and he started learning, and he continued learning. He came out of Shabbos, he continued learning. And he finished the Masechta, and he realized they were about to light Shabbos. He says, Leza, he says, that's when I put Saita in my pocket. I don't know how old he was. He couldn't have been too old. Because he wasn't sitting he was sitting alone and learning and harvanya and putting it in. And that's the Beseisa, Torah's Beseisa. That's it. There's a certain, it's Hatznei Leches, as the Gemara we're going to see. It's a tznius. Guys, it's a tznius. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the biggest tznius in the world. No one's seen him. Right? No one's seen him. I'm saying it's a tremendous thing. It's a tremendous thing. We'll see. I'm going to quote that pasuk. Dam Rabbi Laza, Maidich Siv, Higid L'cha Adam Matoiv, Uma Hashem Dorish. Very famous pasuk. Higid Hashem Adam Matoiv, Uma Hashem Dorish. What does Hashem want from you? Kim Asais Mishpat. You should go ahead and do judgment. The Avos Chesed. Not enough to do Chesed, but you have to love to do Chesed. Vatznei Leches Im Elokecha. Vatznei Leches go with Tznius with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Right. Asais Mishpat Ze Hadin. Avos Chesed Ze Gemilas Chasodim. Vatznei Leches Im Elokecha. So it says Hameis V'Achnosas Kalo L'Chuppah. So Rashi says, it says Toiv Leches LeBeis Avel then Beis Leches Beis Mishta. So it says Leches by both. That's why Rashi. It doesn't mean only these mitzvahs, but these two mitzvahs it says the word Leches by. That's ne Leches, guys, right? It says like Toiv Leches Le Beis Avel Me Leches Al Beis Mishta. So Beis Mishta was speaking about a wedding, and Beis Avel is mace. Like Kala and Mace. Amatayro, that's Neleches. You should go ahead and be Matznia. The Varm Shadakhan Lasois Bitsina, Alachas Kama Kama. I'm Rabbi God lois it tzedakah. A bunch of statements from Rabbi I'm Rabbi God lois it tzedakah. Yosim Mikol Kabanis. Tzedakah is better than all the Kabanis. Nemar Asa tzedakah Mishpat Nifchal Hashem Mizbach. I'm Rabbi Laza. Gedoyle Gemilas Chasadim Yosim in tzedakah. Shnemar Ziru Lochem Tzedakah. Go ahead, plant the kitsu and harvest the fi chesed. In Madam Sareya, if a person plants, so it gives tzedakahs like planting. Safek eichel, safek ein eichel. It's a suffix whether it's going to grow or not. You don't know if you can eat from it. However, Adam Kaitsev, when a person harvests already, Vadai Oichel, Vadai is going to eat already. So the same thing is tzedakah, guys. You don't know if you're giving tzedakah. You give tzedakah, hopefully you're giving tzedakah, right? You never who's collecting it. You never who's collecting it. But, right? Tzedakah is paid regarding the chesed that's done with it. Shnemar, zero lechem tzedakah, bekitzu lefi chesed. Let's see Rashi over here. Where it gets wide, 3 lines down. Zero lechem tzedakah. Tzedakah here has riyah. She's a riyah kedei lichtzar that you plant in order to go ahead and harvest the kabel schar. The kitzu lefi chesed. She's skablu schar lefi chesed sheba. You're going to get schar according to the chesed. There's ways to give tzedakah, right? It's one way. There's so many different ways to give tzedakah. So chesed, the chesed that a person can do in giving tzedakah is mind-boggling. I tell you, you cannot believe. I know some people who are unbelievable by tzedakah. And no one knows to the extent of what they give. No one. Some people buy stock, and everyone knows, but no. But even the ones that everyone knows, they don't know the extent. I'm telling you. You know what I'm talking about. I'm telling you, no one could possibly understand the extent of what tzedakah is. You know, it's mind-boggling, really mind-boggling. It's unique. But again, there's no one like Klal Yisrael. There's no one like Klal Yisrael. Absolutely no one. There's no one like Klal Yisrael. There's a very famous Beis Halevi. It says that v'yitnu li truma, they should give to me truma. It should say v'yikhu li for truma, they should take from me a separation. They should take from me a gift. Says the Beis Halevi, v'yikhu is mashma that what? That it's yours and you're giving it, right? V'yikhu, take from me. Yeah, you're giving to me what's mine. It's not yours. He gives a mashal. He goes, let's say you're a fly, and you're in fly el haba. You're stuck in a sugar barrel, a barrel full of sugar, and it's closed. So the fly thinks, wow, I got all this sugar and everything, but you can never get out of the barrel. We're in the barrel, guys. And the sugar, the money, it's there for us. but it's only there as long as what you do with it. So therefore, v'yitnu truma, they should give to me truma. It's mine. Give it to me, And then when you give it to me, then Mamela, you'll do something with it. Then the chesed will be done. So this is all gebunden in tzedakah. The whole world's full of chesed. Shnemar oyev tzedakah mishpat chesed Hashem mala aretz. Shema toimer kolabal liquids kaifetz. Maybe you'll think that it's so easy to go fulfilled. Says not so pashut. Tamalema mayaka chazcha. We can look at Rashi. Shema kolabal likbites. 5 lines up. Philosophy tzedakah chesed kaifetz umaspeaking umatzian loy anoshim uganim. You think you're going to find people that you can make kindness with? You have to look into it. Well, it's not always again. Sometimes you have to know the guy who, hopefully there's guys who come to collect. The famous mice with the Satmar Rav. Famous mice with the Satmar Rav. Right? That's the mice. He gave the guy come and said he's a scam artist. He gave him money. He doesn't deserve it. And something said Baruch Hashem because Baruch Hashem didn't need it. They're saying like it's a different way to look at things, right? What? Yeah. But he for one hand, just out the window. It was amazing. It was amazing. Okay. Yochlaf your Shemaim came tamleim of Chasser Hashem Olam Bad Olam Al Yireyav. Therefore, what the Chesed V'Kadosh Baruch Chesed Hashem Olam the Yireyav, they'll find people to give the money to. One of Chamar Papa Kolam Sheish Love Chain. Any person who has Chain, a Chainitic person, be a Duashu Yair Shemayim. You have people, certain people. I'm telling you, you look at them, they make you happy. They walk in, This guy is they're saving upon your office. They walk in, just make you happy. You're happy to be around them. They have a Chain. Right? Shnema Chesed Hashem me'olam ad olam al yireyav. V'am Rabbi Laza, my dechsiv pia pascha b'chachma b'saris chesed al l'shayna v'yesh Torah shel chesed v'yesh Torah she'en shel chesed. Torah is chesed al l'shayna. What's Torah is chesed, guys? Right? Ella Torah l'shma zui Torah shel chesed. Torah l'shma is chesed. Torah shaloi l'shma zui Torah she'en chesed. Torah shaloi l'shma, a person learns just for glory to go ahead and bring for gaiva. That's Torah shaloi l'shma, and that's not good. Ikad army Torah l'lamda. Zui Torah shel chesed. Torah that you learn to teach others, that's Torah of chesed, because you're not doing it for yourself, you're doing it for other people. Shaloi lamda, Torah that not to teach, Zui Torah she'en shel chesed. That's pshat, guys. Pia pasa b'chachma, v'saris chesed al l'shayna. Why is it al l'shayna? Because you're giving it over to others. It's on your tongue to give over to others. Thank you all for listening.